This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner in this.
Doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down, Michael for three. Yes! She is gone!
I can't believe what I just saw.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
Cubs and Cardinals fans, it's Sunday, December 19th. This is the Team of Rivals podcast, proud members of the Gateway City Sports Network, where you can find great podcast and blog content. You can follow us online at teamofrivalspodcast.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Team of Rivals Podcast, and we're on Twitter at Team of Rivals Pod. And for those of you who are watching us live on a Sunday night, because who wants to watch the Saints get their asses handed to them by the Bucks? Hit the like and subscribe buttons and be sure to ring that bell on YouTube so that you receive notifications anytime we post new content. We're lucky this week. We have a special guest. Elliott is high as fuck. And I happened to open up a bottle of this apricot dessert wine after literally years sitting in my wine rack. And guys, I got to tell you, it is wonderful. Joining me for tonight's show, the last one definitely before Christmas, and in all likelihood, the last one of 2021, co-founder of the Team of Rivals and number 48 in the 2020 edition of the Top Cards on Twitter, Ron Nuttall, permanent occasional guest host, permanently occasionally high as fuck.
Guys,
Elliott Dewey, and
I don't know.
Last but not least, and most importantly, special guest, Show Infiltrator. He's not calling in this week. Braden Nuttall.
Definitely most important.
Of course. In your own sick world. That's right.
Boys, there's nothing to talk about when it comes to baseball. So for those of you who tuned in to catch something about baseball, what? Seriously.
Why?
There's nothing. Yeah, why? Exactly. You knew why we were going to get on tonight. And if you want to call in, make Ron's life miserable, please do. We're going to talk about Spider-Man. And Elliott claims he's only got 30 minutes. So we're going to test his wife and his family's patience with that one and keep him on for even longer. Gentlemen, how's your weekend been? When did you see Spider-Man?
I saw it on Friday it would be about 3:00 your time, Central Time. Now, I'll get into some more detail around that, just the fact that was kept from me. But no, we took all the boys on Friday to see it here right locally here in Davidson. It's a good little venue, but yeah, we've taken it in.
When did you see the show?
We did the 6:45 show Friday night, me and the wife and the little guy. So nice big comfy leather seats, kicked it back. It was a nice showing.
Well, gentlemen, I got to tell you, as promised, I saw it Thursday night, 9:30. Might have fallen asleep in the chair for a little bit. One, because it was moving a little slowly, and two, because I was really, really full from that amazing meal at Alinea. We can get into that later, but it definitely lived up to its entire reputation, both from a culinary and from a fun standpoint. But Braden, I understand that 4:00 Eastern time showing might not have been your first.
No, it definitely wasn't. My brothers are younger. They like Marvel, whatever. They don't really understand it. This old man wants to be a boomer and beat traffic at a movie theater and try to skip the post-credit scene. So he's not a huge Marvel fan. He likes it, whatever. I had to go with my old high school buddies. I graduated 2 years ago at midnight on Wednesday. Got home at 3 a.m. Just me and like 30 other nerds going crazy. So, yeah, there was no possible way I could wait 2 days, especially with all the spoilers that I already saw Friday afternoon that I would have gotten spoiled if I waited. So, I think it was strictly a business move. No hard feelings.
I don't know. I can't criticize your dad on that one. Skipping the post-credits scene really wasn't skipping anything. You were just basically skipping a preview. That was
trailers.
That was the worst post-credit scene ever.
Oh,
I'm sorry, worst post-credit screen ever.
I'm only going to watch it 6 more times. Yeah.
It was just a trailer. That's all it was.
It was, especially the last one. Right? It was just a blatant trailer. But whatever. I mean,
that's yeah. The post-credits, not the mid-credits.
He does that with every
was
movie,
entertaining, but
he's like, we got to beat traffic.
And of course, there's no traffic in Davidson.
So you beat traffic.
You can beat traffic anytime. Any hour of the day, you can probably beat traffic in Davidson. It's not very big, but.
So, Ron, do those progressive commercials really hit home with you? With the try not to be like your parents?
Oh yeah.
Too late.
No, there's definitely those are, first of all, those are well done. Yeah.
Second of all, they're true.
I find myself anymore that like my father and his father who's still with us, a loud room with a lot of people and a lot of noise. I just get more quiet these days, and I don't want to be there, and I want to somehow just scurry away.
Also tried to put me in an old man shirt today that he owned.
I did. Yeah, we had to go watch his sister sing in a church choir. It's a new thing for her, and so we got out of the house, and he had to borrow just normal clothes because he always wears this.
So a shirt with a collar.
A shirt with a collar.
Well, usually on this show,
know how
it's
to
no
button
shirt.
it up.
I did. Yeah.
Well, at least you have clothes on this show this time. Yeah, right. So.
And the camera is catching all of his face.
But I guess the point of the whole going to see the little sister sing the choir and everything was the boy is wearing a pair of my pants, and that is a sobering thing, guys. Like when your kid starts wearing your clothes for real, wear them. Not just hey, I'm gonna be funny and put on my dad's shirt that's like 6 sizes too big for me. Isn't that cute? No. This is wearing my clothes right now, and they fit him.
Fits pretty well, yeah.
I know. It's weird.
So, Ron, that either means that you've slimmed down significantly.
I mean,
or,
what he's wearing, I can't fit in
buddy.
anymmore. The pants he's wearing, I can't fit in those. I mean, I could, but it's going to be really, really uncomfortable. I look like the ass end of a pug. Beer belly with these little tight jeans on. Yeah, I mean, it's not good. So.
Well, listen, since we're not going to talk baseball, let's talk Spider-Man. What'd you guys think?
Elliott, you go ahead because you're on limited time here.
I really liked it. I mean, I like the spoilers, so I kind of read ahead on some stuff, and but they really kept the Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire appearance under wraps pretty good. I mean, those guys blatantly lied to everybody every time that they were asked, probably due to NDA reasons. But I like the way that they did it. I mean, that's kind of like the big elephant in the room when it came to that movie. There was some, I mean, I understand. God, I'm going to bounce all over the place. I'll just say I liked it. I thought it was great. I understand the way the storyline went the way that it did. I'm excited for the continuation of it because pretty much this movie was a setup for other things.
Oh, yeah. Hey, before we go any farther, if you have not seen Spider-Man and you don't want to be spoiled or you don't want to talk, we should have probably just thrown up a graphic here that said Spider-Man spoilers. Anybody who hasn't seen it that happens to be watching right now, just stop, come back to us when you've seen it if you don't want secrets. But I don't know how the hell you've been able to avoid them up to this point.
Not now. It's done. It's been done.
Oh,
right.
Come on. Look, Elliott, I know you don't want to give away too much or pretend to be too smart, but come on. The minute that we saw Alfred Molina's Doc Ock and we saw the Green Goblin's bombs, we all knew that the next logical extension was that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were going to be in this one.
Absolutely.
Especially the way that Marvel has been leaning into the multiverse. in the last couple of years. Ever since Into the Spider-Verse, this was inevitable.
Well, that and the end of Venom, the Carnage. I mean, you knew once that post-credit scene happened, there was going to be more of that crossover that Sony is looking for to control that part of the MCU that they still own. So,
well, they had to be pleased with the way this was executed too. It brings a little bit of attention to their movies, the ones that they did. And I, it's all over iTunes now on most frequent. If you're looking at what's popular right now, all those old Spider-Man movies. Now it's not typical for I guess when Ghostbusters Afterlife came out, they made Ghostbusters 1 and 2 readily available right there on iTunes. You didn't even have to scroll to see them, and it's been the same thing with Spider-Man. Gotta admit though, the Andrew Garfield versions, I only maybe watched those once. It weren't something I really wanted to go back and take in again. But,
so you know what, that makes me think, because that was in line with one of the guys that I saw it with on Thursday night, and at the end of the movie, we were all kind of giving our impressions and everything, and he was like, "Wait, you guys got to bring me up to speed. Am I missing something with Andrew Garfield?" And we're like, "Yeah, he was the Amazing Spider-Man." Did I miss those? Yeah, I think that was about the time that you were having kids. It was like, oh, which makes me kind of think that, Ron, it's probably right in that sweet spot for you too. You were busy making lots of babies.
Well, no, I mean, I know I had watched them, and I think I watched, when did the first Andrew Garfield come out? Like 2012?
2012.
Yeah. So I watched that one. No shit. So I watched that when I rented it before I left for China. I was over in China for about 10 days. By the way, that was the same time Disney had acquired Lucasfilm and all that news broke. So I had watched The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. I had watched it on an iPod Touch. I was a BlackBerry user. Remember those? We were BlackBerry users at the time. I had an iPod Touch, and I downloaded it and saved it on there. And then I knew that the Wi-Fi's, it's kind of sketchy over there. It's hard to get some stuff. So I watched it on an iPad Touch. So maybe that's why the impression wasn't great. But I had seen the second one too, and I was like, the whole Rhino thing. I get that that's a comic book villain, but yeah, his movies are rough.
Rhino's cool, but the way they did him in his movies was terrible.
Yeah.
I think Andrew Garfield is a great actor. I think he was a great Spider-Man. You could tell he really likes the character. It was just like his writing and the whole plot in his movies, and just
he is a good actor, and
he's
actually
a great Spider-Man though.
He's got some pipes too, guys. We just watched my wife and I watched Tick Tick Boom just like a week and a half ago, and it's a pretty good movie. Now, I don't want to get into West Side Story. Do we have to get into that here later on since we're doing pop culture? Let's not. Okay.
Well, then why did you bring up a musical?
I was forced to watch that movie.
Well, the movie Tick Tick Boom is about the life of the guy who actually wrote, that. So that, Pete. I know I'm not telling you. It's more for the benefit of the other guys here in case they didn't know. I would never, guys, don't ever even pretend or presume you're getting ahead of the curve on Pete when it comes to anything theatrical. Okay.
Speaking of which, go see Nightmare Alley.
You saw him swell up there, right? You see him?
Oh.
He started his facial expression starting to change. Like, you think you know something? Ah.
That's the new Bradley Cooper movie, correct?
It is. Guillermo del Toro directed. Really very, very compelling and draws you in, keeps you interested. I really enjoyed it. So this afternoon.
Yeah. So anyway, back to this movie now. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man fan. Not that I'm not, but it's definitely not something that I'm anticipating, like, a Star Wars theatrical release or something that we're constantly talking about. And I am kind of like you, Elliott. I'm going to kind of seek rumors and spoilers out. I don't avoid them because they don't really ruin anything for me.
No.
But I had heard that these are, and I thought it was just maybe super fans talking about, is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield going to show up in this one? I'm like, here I'm sitting like, okay, that'd be kind of neat if they did, but I don't really care. But I think they did it pretty well. And who knew that? First of all, the whole when they, I guess it was a reboot, but The Amazing Spider-Man was confusing to me because I'm like, shit, weren't the other ones just released like 10, 12 years before that? I'm like, I didn't understand why they went back to it and kind of told the story all over again. The Marvel MCU somehow made it make sense, right?
Garfield was kind of an alternative, like an alternative universe Spider-Man, because you did, instead of MJ, you've got Gwen.
Yeah, fine, but But nobody was looking ahead to this MCU when they did the Amazing Spider-Man, but the MCU actually made all of that make more sense at this point for me, anyway.
And think about it; it has now made all of that IP canon.
Yeah.
So now all that stuff has to be considered part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. So a very, very good execution. Lucasfilm, did you see that? You fucks. And speaking of that, so Pete, I don't think any of us have really let's touch on another, I guess not a reboot, but a long anticipated sequel that kind of is along the lines of keeping a secret, honoring things that have been done before, and doing it really well. I mean, Ghostbusters is another example this year. Two of them within a month of each other. That's actually pretty amazing. We knew we would see Harold Ramis in this movie, but I think the way they did it, man, I was choking back some tears on that. I'm like, oh God, to bring him in at the end like that, I thought was really neat. Now, Ghostbuster hardcore fans, some of them didn't like that, or they didn't like the way they did it, didn't like Paul Rudd, which I thought he was a relatively harmless character here. But I don't know. So I think it's really cool seeing two of those that I didn't know much about. Not like a huge. I'm not going to be going to Ghostbusters or Marvel conventions anytime soon. I'm not even gonna watch spoilers or any of that shit on YouTube. So, but I enjoyed it.
I'm a huge MCU fan, honestly. Like, I think just because nostalgia, Star Wars is still higher.
You talk in the mic,
but
Cody.
But the MCU is not much lower for me. I mean, I think it's absolutely amazing. I loved Homecoming. Far From Home, I didn't really like that much. Well, this mic's too high. I'm moving it.
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll do better next time.
But yeah, so I kind of liked this movie. It made me feel like Far From Home was a little bit better because this entire trilogy just seemed like a whole origin story for Tom's Peter, where it just all kind of fit together now. And so in the next trilogy, he's going to be that, alone Spider-Man that he is in the comics and the Spider-Man video game, if anyone's played it. But I absolutely love this movie. I thought it was great. I think Dark Knight is probably still a little bit better. Because people are out. That's a big debate right now.
That's a high bar on that one. Really.
Yeah, it's a huge debate. I absolutely loved how they brought in the two Spider-Man. I knew they were gonna be in it, and I saw all the leaks and everything. But there was still that anticipation of, are they gonna be in it? Like, you knew they were, but you also didn't know. And so I thought it was awesome how they kept you waiting for it. I thought it was great though.
So while you're channeling Stevie Wonder over there with your head moving back and forth, if you guys, those only listening to the audio version, it's an example of the Doppler effect when Braden's talking tonight. So he's just going in and out. But we'll train him to keep his head still. It's hard.
I tell you, I agree with Braden in that I love what it's set up for Tom Holland's Spider-Man moving forward. Particularly now he's no longer Tony Stark's, right? And that was demonstrated by his costume at the end of the movie. Oh, there goes Elliott. Oh, right in time when I was going to make the joke. I was all ready to go because I was going to jump right off of it. And I was going to say, Braden, the one thing that I can think of that's higher than Star Wars is Elliott tonight.
Was this 30 minutes up?
And then he just disappears. Looks like his 30 minutes are up.
So we have a theory on here. Well, we're going to segue just for a second. My theory is that we knew that, what did he say? Did he tell us his wife rolled her eyes? Was that the?
Yes.
Okay, so he got an eye roll upon revealing to his wife that he was going to be doing a podcast tonight because they have family, I guess a bunch of family over, and he probably shouldn't have done it. Our theory was he faked frequent disconnects so he could get out of the show and not get in trouble. And I think that's what oh shit, he's back. I'm wrong. He just proved my theory wrong. He jumped back in.
No, he didn't prove your theory wrong at all. He disconnected to get yelled at and then say, just 5 more minutes.
No, I was on mute, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just dropped. Just an old-fashioned drop.
Okay.
Sure.
We'll take it. All right. Out of
so hey, speaking of reboots, right, and nostalgia, I don't think we discussed this the last time we were on, but I wanted to throw it by you guys because I heard it and I thought it was pretty interesting. The theory that's floating around that Filoni and Favreau are already writing out the sequels with what happened with Grogu.
Did you get that from Mike Zero?
No, I don't remember. I was talking with a friend about it, and we were he was the one who brought it to me. So who knows? Maybe
I hope that's true.
Anyway,
I really do.
But anyway, so here's the theory.
I do too. That'd be good.
By Grogu being taken by Luke, right?
Mm-hmm.
That takes Grogu, because we had been told throughout the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian that the Empire hadn't perfected using his blood in order to advance the cloning process. And that's why they needed to get him back. So by having Luke take Grogu and train him, you've now taken out that possibility that the Emperor can create clones, thus completely eliminating the sequel trilogy, because everything that happens in the sequels can't happen now because the Emperor can't make clones.
I saw that. I would love if they made that like an alternate universe or like a what if
That'd be
thing.
amazing.
Yeah, and it's been done enough now, right? Where kind of genres have been reset and reinvigorated. I mean, and I'll give Abrams some credit. I know pure Star Trek fans hated that reboot from 2009. I actually enjoyed that Star Trek reboot, the way they had done that. Loved nothing more than to and that's like unthinkable when it comes to Star Wars, that something can be squashed like that's already out there, or even kind of retold, or what's the word I'm looking for? It's come on, it's when you go back and you kind of
Subverted.
Retcon. Like that's the kind of thing there that they'll never do that. So like Lucas was never going to do that. If he was still, I mean, first of all, that shit box would have never been made.
Ron, you like it when they subvert your expectations of characters and completely retcon the way that they've been written and played for the previous 3 decades?
Yes.
So you loved The Last Jedi.
Oh, I hated that. I hated that movie. Hey, if you guys
he did the same thing to Luke Skywalker that J.J. Abrams did to Spock.
Well,
Spock was never an emotionally out of control, romantically involved character, and J.J. Abrams completely rewrote that.
But okay, yeah, point taken. I mean, you are right. But if you remember some of those after what was it, the Search for Spock, when they rescued him, brought him back, it was a different Spock by the time you got to those very last movies. There was a little more emotion in there from when he died and came back, and I think there was some opening up there. And you got to figure that he's lived a life now where everybody he knew and was close to is gone, right? So it's
right, but that wasn't the Spock who led to the one that J.J. Abrams rewrote. J.J. Abrams rewrote Spock from the beginning, not after he went through Ponfar a second time.
Yeah, well,
he completely rewrote Spock from the beginning.
That's fine. I'm also not as emotionally attached to Star Trek as I ever have been Star Wars.
I know,
and nobody,
but I mean,
even the biggest Star Trek fan was.
By that extent, you should love.
No, by that extent, I don't have to, because I don't. No matter what they did with Star Trek, I probably wouldn't have given a shit at the end of the day, so it didn't matter to me. And that's probably some of the people that enjoyed The Last Jedi are probably the same way, Pete, where they're just not as emotionally attached to the character of Luke Skywalker and weren't attached as much to the movies. So no matter what they did, I imagine if you kind of come to it as a casual fan, Last Jedi is probably good for some people, and they probably enjoyed it. They probably enjoyed that 2-hour-long space chase, because that was really exciting.
These are the same people who sat and watched O.J. Simpson drive around L.A. for 3 hours back in the early 2000s.
Yeah. Rather than
late 90s.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it was. I don't even remember how.
The mid 90s, man. Wasn't the late 90s.
96?
94, 95. I thought the trial was in 95.
94, 95, yeah.
All I remember is my girlfriend's mom, my girlfriend at the time's mom, being glued to the television from the point of that chase all the way through the trial.
Yeah. I didn't think we'd be bringing up OJ on a night like this, but
sure, why not?
Sure, he's out. I think he's free.
Nothing else to talk about. Yeah, I know. You better lock up your wife.
I did find one glove out in the yard.
You did.
Okay, so yes, I think we all universally love this movie. Even the if I rated myself as an MCU fan, I'm probably. Some movies I'm a 3 out of 5. As far as Spider-Man, I'm probably about a 3, and call me a 3.5 on my fan scale. I'm about a 3.5 out of 5 as far as what kind of a Marvel fan I am. Now I would give this movie a higher mark for sure. It was entertaining. It's definitely one I'll watch again once it comes out at home. And no, I struggle with end credits and waiting there in the theater for all the shit to roll so I can watch about 30 seconds of something. I'm not a fan of that. It's hard for me, guys. I missed the whole Book of Boba reveal at the end of Mandalorian.
Yeah, I had to call you and tell you
had to
that
call
it was
me. He knew I wasn't going to watch credits.
And here's the thing. For Disney Plus, you can fast forward to the post-credits scene. You don't have to watch it.
Exactly.
You know, it's interesting that you bring it up, Ron, because I was thinking about it today when I saw Nightmare Alley, because movie was done, credits rolled, right?
Yeah.
And like I got up and I walked out of the theater because I knew that it was done. And I was thinking about it as I was driving home, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot what it's like for a filmmaker to tell his story and then be done.
Yeah.
Like it seems like a little bit of a cop-out, right? Well, I haven't told the entire story, so I'm gonna have you sitting around and waiting for it so that I can finish telling my story. No, just tell the story.
Yeah,
that's all. Just tell the story. Bring it to black.
But
let us
that's
wait
what's
about
different
5
about
seconds.
It's
Bring
also
it
a
back
cinematic
up.
universe.
Give us
This
that
is-
last scene, and then roll credits.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a little different though. Your Marvel stuff is a continuation, and everything kind of interwebs with each other.
I will say that they're
that,
clever about doing that. And they've added it. There's a new component to all of this, mid-credit, post-credit, all these scenes. Like now it's opening it up to the stuff that's streaming now. Like and some of these shows that have been on TV. Some of these characters are being brought into this, to the bigger, brought onto the bigger screen from the little screen. That's actually kind of cool. And I tell you what, and Marvel is a trailblazer in this category of being able to weave and stitch all this stuff together so well. Now, I'm not saying they've hit a home run each and every time, but goddamn, they've been pretty good, right? I mean, about tying this stuff together, right? So it's the only Marvel movies I haven't seen. I just cannot drum up the interest internally to watch Ant-Man. Just something about it, I'm just like not fucking interested whatsoever to watch it. And I know that he keeps telling me that, no, you got to see it because there's some really cool shit, and it makes sense when you watch some of the other Avengers movies and everything. So I'll get to it eventually, but Ant-Man's been the one thing I'm like, it's like just a movie about the Hulk. Like I'm not, those have never really done well, right, at the box office.
I enjoy
well, and they haven't done one since
Eric Bana's
Ed Norton.
Was it Ed Norton?
Edward Norton.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Edward Norton had the last standalone, and his story still kind of stands because there's characters from that movie that moved forward. Just Edward Norton did not.
And they used the
storyline,
entire battle sequence and storyline in What If.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's debatable, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that Hulk is canon. It may not be the same actor, but the story that it tells is canon because that's where Tony Stark makes his first appearance.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm starting to. I think a lot of us open up a lot more to something can become canon. You can recast it. You can. It's got. You got to be careful, but anyway. Yeah. So hey, really good movie. I enjoyed it. I hope that I don't know what is going on with this Tom Holland Spider-Man. I assume it's going to move forward with the same actor for a while, at least while he's appears to be
another
young.
trilogy.
Yeah.
He's clearly enjoying himself.
Yeah, it's gonna be like his college years sort of thing. And the thought is this is where they're gonna bring in maybe Gwen Stacy into the universe because MJ is doesn't remember, nobody remembers who he is, so he can be anonymous again.
Yeah.
And kind of go out and do his thing. You'll probably have more of the Sinister Six, I think, come along through these college years.
Who are the Sinister Six? I have no idea who that. Please share that squad with me. Do I know anybody in the Sinister Six?
Well,
yeah, you've already met them.
Yeah. So the Sinister Six is just a big group of Spider-Man's villains. So
yeah, Vulture, Scorpion.
No clue.
No, we saw Vulture.
We saw Vulture.
When did we see Vulture? Who's Vulture?
In the first one.
First movie.
Yeah, it's Michael Keaton.
Scorpion to Green Goblin. Like, basically, there was 5 of them in this movie. I was kind of shocked that they didn't add.
So at the end of the first Tom Holland Spider-Man, when Keaton's character is in prison at the end of the movie, there's a guy that you see that's got a scorpion tattoo on his neck who becomes Scorpion.
Okay.
So
I appreciate you guys' effort. None of that helps. I have no idea what you're talking about.
But for me,
look, the big question about the next trilogy is how are they going to work home into the title of the first film?
I don't think they do.
Spider-Man, Home Alone.
I think
Mama, I'm coming home.
Yeah. I do think though in the first one of the next trilogy, I think they introduced Miles Morales.
Who's that?
Oh my God.
Spider-Verse.
Where's my uncle? Where's my uncle?
No, they're not going to introduce Miles Morales. He's got his own animated series.
Well,
unless you're
wait.
going to cross that blood-brain barrier,
hold up.
I don't think we're going to see Miles Morales.
Miles Morales will be in the MCU at some point, for sure.
He already is. In the Spider-Verse.
Well,
is that part of it?
I mean, here's the thing. No,
sure.
It's not technically. Yeah. I mean, it could be. It's not technically. But
like hearing geeks fight about what's canon and what's not.
No, but in Homecoming, you probably
it's all canon.
You don't know him, but Aaron Davis is Miles' uncle.
I know Aaron.
Yeah, he was
good man.
He was introduced.
He was in Homecoming, and he was trying to get the weapon or whatever from Spider-Man. He was saying like, "Oh, I got a nephew I'm trying to protect." And Jamie Foxx was like, "Oh, I wish there was a black Spider-Man." Well,
that's what I was going to ask. Is there going to be okay? Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is there going to be a black Spider-Man? It sure feels like there's going to be.
Well,
there already is.
Miles is coming in.
You're talking about a cartoon. Fine.
They're gonna do a live action.
They will do.
Yeah.
There's been rumors about them hiring someone and talks with Sony and blah blah. But yeah, for this.
Is there going to be a female Spider-Man?
For this new trilogy.
There already is.
There is.
Gwen.
Who's Gwen?
Gwen Stacy.
Who's Gwen Stacy?
Emma Stone in The Amazing Spider-Man.
I'm asking you because I really don't know.
We got the wrong nut on here.
Emma Stone.
Where's my uncle
Emma Stone played Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man trilogy.
She looks like she smells like cat piss.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think she smells like a lot of weed. Like more than Elliott.
It's probably true.
I think Winona Ryder smells like cat piss.
I saw that on Jimmy.
There it
was
is.
But speaking of the college Spider-Man trilogy, if anyone doesn't want to wait a year or two or whatever to see it on the live action, I highly recommend the Spider-Man video game. There's gonna be a new one in about a year's time.
Does that stuff count?
I mean, hell, if they want to put it live action,
I can't take inventory of any of this shit anymore.
I mean, it's about Peter, who's in. I think he's actually out of college.
Yes,
but there's an MJ, but there's also like a Black Cat making some appearances. Taskmaster, Octavius is in there. You got your Electro, Scorpion, Rhino, Vulture, Norman Osborn's in there. Harry. They're kind of side characters for the first one, but they'll be villains in the second
Play it, Stevie.
one. But it's a pretty good video game and pretty good story for like a more mature college Peter. So I think they'll go to a similar route with the live action. They'll have a Gwen Stacy, maybe Harry Osborn, a Black Cat, a Mr. Negative, people like that in the upcoming trilogy.
Stevie Wonder.
I just want to say that
I'm just,
from the movie I heard Thursday night. I just really like that there are Jewish superheroes.
I'm just vibing because this chair is.
You're vibing.
I'm vibing too.
This chair is uncomfortable, so it helps to sway because my butt really hurts.
Here, we'll just.
I'm with you.
Real quick, for those that don't know what we've been talking about.
Oh, there it is. Fantastic.
That's how we saw Elliott for about 5 solid minutes.
I was probably in the middle of blinking. Thank you. Love it.
Can I zoom in on this? Yes, I can. That is not a blink. That is, hey man, these gummies aren't working. Give me another. All right.
Puff, puff, give. Puff, puff, give.
Oh, this is Illinois. It's legal, man. You're doing nothing wrong.
That's right.
All right. Okay. Elliott, if you got to run, you just run, but you don't have to leave right now. You stay as long as you want.
Wait, is it?
But
It's
do not get yourself into trouble.
It's not legal in North Carolina, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah, because
No, it's not.
North Carolina gives me,
We're in the South. It's going to be a little while before.
Davidson's, a nice little town, but it gives me off like a little bit of a vibe where like rich white moms think
What?
their families or they are like way more prestige than they are, and you're just looking at them like, okay, Karen, you're not above everyone else.
He's not.
How dare you talk about your stepmom like
but
that?
I'm just saying,
Stepmom.
veggie. Everywhere I go, I see veggie straws. Like,
Veggie
what are we
straws.
doing here? Like, come on, give me a bag of
health conscious.
Doritos. I don't want veggie straws. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Has Dad popped out a charcuterie for you to enjoy yet?
There was one yesterday. There was one yesterday. Just happened to be at my in-laws just down the block. They had a wine tasting yesterday,
You told Braden though that it was a meat and cheese tray, and he was fine with that, right?
That's what you got. You got to change the words. Yeah, change the words. He's fine with it. But
I know what a charcuterie board is.
say you didn't.
Okay, Karen.
But
I don't know. Like, North Carolina is nice and all, but it gives me off the like, we're vegan and we're perfect.
oh yeah, we're perfect. We are. Damn right.
Don't go to California, dude.
California's not
everybody.
Vibe that they're vegan and perfect. Oh my God.
Is it a lot of pinkies up in the air and noses and?
No, he hasn't been hanging out with me.
Yeah, that's right. It's basically a town that full of a bunch of people like Pete. Uh-oh. He's pulling something. He had something handy.
Well, yeah, I figured since we were talking about pinkies up in the air and being fancy, I figured I'd give you guys a sampling of the menu for December, what was it, 16th at
For the love of
Millennium.
God. Okay.
So the first course was grated Ocetra caviar with crepe and creme fraiche, and a glass of Etienne Calzac Le Rochefort Blanc de Blanc champagne. Premier Cru.
Elliot, do you ever wonder how he's not just been punched yet by someone?
He's been punched.
He's been punched. Well, you got to get protection for that. And speaking of protection, so I'll go ahead and put on the screen here. Hey, look, man. We all know it's important to stay protected. Sometimes life throws you a curve, and that's why you need Allstate. The Wiley Group has 2 locations in Festus and Arnold to serve you. They offer home, auto, boat, motorcycle, business, life insurance, investments, and so much more. They offer a customized approach unique to your situation to make sure you, your family, and assets are properly protected. They also offer great rates and savings. Give Sean and his team a call today at 636-764-6294. They'll help you with an insurance quote right over the phone. You can even give them a call if you want to talk sports. They do that too. We all have busy lives. You can email Sean at seanwiley@allstate.com and talk to him about your coverage options. And remember, you're in good hands.
And if you don't get coverage, you're gonna look like the picture Elliott.
You're in good hands with Allstate. I kicked
Yeah,
it
but
over.
hey, but no.
Punted it over to you to have you finish it.
If you don't get coverage,
Oh,
you'll look like the
Jesus.
picture of Elliott.
Look at this.
He's gone again.
There he is.
Does he know that just because he's broadcasting through North Carolina, that doesn't mean that he's breaking the law getting high in Illinois?
He got nervous and bailed.
That's right.
Okay. So I know that I'm kind of like, if you guys are good on Spider-Man, we can move on to another topic if we'd like. Oh, he's got his cough button hit. He's going down.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Just demonstrating some professionalism.
That's right. Unlike our question mark there.
What?
Unlike our question mark.
Yeah. What now?
We're going to close out the show like this because I think this is the best shot we have.
I think this well summarizes the 2021 season.
Yeah, Elliott
started off with a bang. It started off big with Chip, with Dan, and it ends with a question mark.
And it should. All right, so yeah, you're right, Pete. There's actually, I don't know, do we have a score check on how'd the Bears do?
Bears play tomorrow night.
Oh, great. Another
I think
national.
they've already lost. Their entire secondary is in COVID protocols. They're terrible. And all of the coordinators are in COVID protocols too. So their offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams coach are all.
I've got I don't know if this is even falls in the bucket of philosophical question, Pete, but I'm curious of one thing here, and just your quick take or opinion on this is that if social media, if you roll back the clock, right, to the days of BlackBerry and Motorola Razr phones, before the internet is what it is today, what we know it as, before CNN became who CNN is now, and news outlets like that, I just wonder if all these lockdowns and shit would have ever happened, even as they happened in March of 2020. If social media didn't exist, if all these news media outlets didn't exist, like would lockdowns and all of this stuff happen in the first place? I just got this feeling, right? I don't think it would have. I think people are afraid to recommend the wrong thing these days.
You know what
Petrified.
I wonder is not only would all the lockdowns have happened, I wonder if the lockdowns would still be in effect. Let's assume that they did happen.
Mm-hmm.
All of the pushback and everything that really has put pressure on politicians to lift the lockdowns and everything, would that have been generated spontaneously without the kind of coordination and information sharing that happens now?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that it would have played itself out like it does in this day and age. And I was on the side of the fence that, look, if they want to focus their efforts on anything, and I've been vaccinated, I've been boosted, I'm not afraid of any of that shit. I've shot up with so much stuff heading into boot camp. I mean, literally a syringe in each ass cheek at the same time, like giving me immunizations to like everything under the sun, right? I've had the anthrax vaccinations. It was like a series of 6 shots. Okay, I've had all kinds of shit. Like I wasn't afraid of any of that stuff, and I know that everybody's case is a little bit different. So yeah, I'm on the side of vaccination. I'm on the side of wearing a mask wasn't that big of an inconvenience. I hate it though. I don't like wearing it. At this point now, man, I'm kind of just I don't. The fatigue has really set in with me too. I'm just so sick of all this shit. I'm tired of turning it on the news, no matter what station I'm tuning into, and I'm so sick of hearing about it. Okay, so another variant came out. Like, fuck. Okay, tell me something new today. Like, there's going to be a new variant to the end of eternity on this thing, man. There's a new variant to the flu strain every year. I mean, okay. We got to learn how to live with it instead of like having it impact everything. I'm exhausted.
I'm with you. I mean, if you look at it, right now, coronavirus is essentially the flu 100 years later because it's developed along the same pattern. The Spanish flu hit, and it was the second wave that really killed people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that I'm with you. This thing is going to become an endemic, and we just need to get used to it.
Yeah. And then CNN's going to have to figure out something else to talk about.
Well,
what a shit network. Again. I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired. That one, I wish I could just, the days of a la carte for what you get on your internet streaming service. I've got DirecTV Stream. I wish I could, and I probably can disable some of these channels. I just don't want to see them anymore. And I don't, I don't know. Take me to a news outlet that just reports the news, and not NPR. NPR is it's like Novocaine. It's hard to listen to.
Worse than that, it's anesthesia.
It is. It's chloroform.
It puts you to sleep.
It's chloroform. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm tired.
I am too. You want to get that last ad read in, or?
Why not? You know what? I'm tired of that. You know what else I get tired of even thinking about it? I get tired of. Hold on, let me see what screen I'm on here. Oh, I lost my Elliott screen. Oh well. One of the things I get tired even thinking about it, and that is buying a vehicle because it's stressful. I don't want to do it. It doesn't have to be stressful though. Fifth Street Motors, located in Pacific, Missouri, will help you find the vehicle you need, no matter what brand. Fifth Street Motors believes in giving you the best price on a pre-owned vehicle that fit your budget. Give Don or Brandon a call today at 573-259-1306 and tell them Gateway City Sports sent you. So we covered Pandemic and Spider-Man. That's pretty cool. Can we touch on baseball just for a second?
Sure. What do you want to touch on?
I don't know.
The fact that we're not going to see any movement until after the first of the year.
Are you surprised, though, that we haven't heard of them getting back together and having any kind of discussion?
Well, apparently, what was it? They either met this week or they're going to meet this coming week.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I thought I saw something recently that either they met over something late last week, or else they're going to meet early this week.
Yeah,
but they're not going to get anything done.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be focused on the holiday coming up and everything, and that's fine. But while they continue to do this, they miss out on an important season for them, and that is the off season. It can be exciting in baseball. January sucks; it always has. But perhaps if they reopen negotiations, we'll get a wave of signings and trades and everything that start to happen in January, as opposed to most of it being done in January, which could, create some excitement. I don't know how long it's going to go, this game of chicken, before pitchers and catchers have to report, if they're actually going to delay that. Because I think we've talked about it on here before. I think any delay to spring training or prep for that is going to push the season back. I think it's a 1-for-1, almost a 1-for-1 deal. Lose a day of spring training, it moves the season back a day.
The only thing that I could see is, I think you're right. I think that spring training is going to start late, and I guess it depends on how committed they are to having spring training be its normal length. If they are committed to that, then I think they don't want to lose games, but maybe they're willing to sacrifice and say we'll play 154 games. Yeah, and go ahead with the scheduled doubleheaders just like they had this past year.
I just want a deal, and I don't want doubleheaders. I don't want a shortened season. I don't want all that crap. Suck. Just get a deal. Just quit your whining. Quit your whining, and just get a deal. That's what I have to say.
Easier said than done, Braden.
Yeah, I know. Don't we all wish that?
Unfortunately, that's how your dad and I first commiserated.
Yep. The old 1994, my senior year, no World Series. Not like stopping when you had one of the best teams I've ever seen play in the Montreal Expos, loaded with Pedro Martinez and Larry Walker and Vlad Guerrero. Moises Alou, my favorite. Peeing on his hands to soften him up.
Team I thought it was to harden him up.
Was it?
I thought so. That way he didn't have to wear batting gloves. Seriously, I think that's what it was.
Okay.
All right. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review and tell your friends to subscribe. We are available on Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Also, be sure to check out the other Gateway City Sports Network podcasts, including the Derek King Sports Show, 2 for 3 with Moose Michaels, Yacker Jacks, XFL STL, and End the Cards with A-Train Arlington Lake. Braden, where can people find you on social media?
STL Cards Rant. I'm really posting anything in a while because, what is there to post?
Nothing.
I'm not going to make some stupid series about what grade would you give this player?
Who's on your Mount Rushmore of Cardinals?
C, D, F. Give them all F. I don't care. Anyway, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Beautiful. You can send us an email at show@teamofrivalspodcast.com. You can find Elliott on Twitter at @TOR_Elliott. And you can find Ron at
TOR_Ron75. An interesting thing somebody just put on the Facebook chat here, our friend Greg. 20 years ago today, Moises Alou signed with the Cubs. God, has it been 20 years?
Good time.
Is that right?
That sounds about right.
Oh, wow. It's been a long road, my friend. All right, yes. Pete, thanks for taking us out. We will see you after the first of the year, so see you all next year. We love you all so much. Bye-bye, everyone.